Well, good morning, Algebra 1. So today, what I'm going to have you do, I have this feeling that we are going through the struggle phase again, okay? Which is understandable, because now we're intertwining everything, and it's to be expected. So what I would do is I would get you a piece of paper and pencil out. Mr. Teeters, make sure they do this. Um, what I'm gonna have you do is this. Hopefully, this video sheds some light on the confusion and what you're going to be able to be expected to do today. Because it's going to be tricky. You know, I'm hearing things. Oh, we haven't done this yet, and guys, factored form was the first thing we covered. 2-3 months ago. I mean, this is it. This is our meat and potatoes, the bread and butter that we got to be able to go back and forth. And I told you that last week. So get you a piece of paper and pencil, and at the end of each slide, I'll kind of warn you, and I'll say, well, hit pause. Mr. Teeters will hit pause on the video, and you guys copy down step by step each example so that you can use it during the practice today. And there's a couple of neat things in the end of this video that I had. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I spent 10 minutes trying to figure out how else I can break this down. Before I get started, you have a wonderful sub in front of you that not only could he kick my butt on guitar, but he's a brilliant guy. So, and everybody's got their style of teaching, and he teaches at the collegiate level, and he's seen things work different ways, just like I have. The guys, I can't water it down anymore. Okay, I know I've said that. I really can't. You guys are going to turn me into a vegetable by the time it's all said and done. So at the end of each slide, I'll say pause, and I want you guys to write down each example. All right, please do this. I'm spending this time making these videos, and they're on my teacher webpage. I'm going to expect you to use them. All right. So here we go. Example 1. I don't know if we're just not recognizing the form that these quadratic equations are in. Right now it's in standard form. We got x squared minus 2x minus 48. And the question is asking us to put it in factored form. Now, some of you probably forgot this in intervention. If we go from standard to factored form, I want to use that Punnett square. Okay? Now, this is kind of new for everybody. I know, it's actually new for me. Sometimes I'll sit around, and if I can water it down more and more, like I said, I am done. This is it. I just kind of winged it. Okay, so, and it works. It works. Math works in mysterious ways. Not to quote YouTube. U2, not YouTube. Anyway, so I wanted to start off with the Punnett square. Not one there, put one there. First term. Top left. If you guys could make a song out of this, I would, whatever, rap about it, giving you a little shout out if you're at school today. Negative 48. Last number. Bottom. Right. Let me make it as neat as I can. So there's negative 48. Now, what we must do next, and I guess this is the part that gets everybody. Alright. What we must do is take the two numbers. I'm looking at my Punnett square. I'm not looking at the equation. I'm actually looking at the 1 and the negative 48. Alright, I want to multiply those two numbers. 1 times negative 48. I swear, if you grab a calculator and multiply it out, I'm laughing. Just to pick on some of you. Alright, so now what do we do next, Alyssa? If you can hear me back there, is Bree awake? Let's think of two numbers that, two factors of negative 48 to add together to give me the middle term, the negative 2. Now, I'm going to tell you, 6 and 8 make 48. One of these has to be negative. I'm going to guess it's negative 8. 6 plus negative 8 is negative 2. Guys, that's the hard part. I really think that's where we're stumped. That's, junior high, elementary stuff. And that's the part that gets everybody. I'm sure Mr. Teeters has sold it to the college level. And he's probably shaking his head yes. Okay. Now, here's another thing, I guess, it's getting everybody with the Punnett square. X and X, they're going to go there. Okay? Just put them there. That's part of it. Alright? Now, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to my color red, is I'm going to put 6 and negative 8 in the box. Now, there's no rule or anything that says this has to go in this box, the other one has to go in the other one. There isn't. I'm just going to put them somewhere. Okay? I don't care where they go. Alright, now I'm going to go to a different color here so I can separate some things. Something's going to go here. The sign closest determines what the sign is. Okay, so that's positive. Well, the sign closest to this one is positive. Okay, let's go across the top of the columns. That's positive. Guys, the first one should be positive. Hopefully it's positive. And then this one right here, sign closest to it's negative. Now, this negative 48 had no bearing on that. This negative goes here. This positive down here goes there. Alright. Hopefully that kind of sheds a little bit of light on that part. Now, let's find the greatest common factor of the rows and columns. Now, right now, I'm going to start here. Well, what do they have in common? What's the greatest common factor? 6 and 48. 6. Okay. Now, let's go to this one. Okay. What's the greatest common factor of 1 and 8? Well, it's 1. But what else do they have in common? An X. I like to start with the rows first. I don't know why. And then I go to the columns. Start from the ground up. What do they have in common? 1 and 6. Well, that's just 1. But they have an X. Last column. Okay. Greatest common factor of 8 and 48. I already took care of the signs. I'm not worried about signs. 8. Okay, well, there's my answer. Alright, so let's go here at the bottom. I'm going to write it in my favorite color of all time. Not really. Well, I like it, but, in orange. Okay, I'll put a box right here. Here's my answer. X plus 6. Guys, if 1's there, you don't need it there. X, 1x, don't matter, minus 8, close parenthesis. There's my answer. Pause. Alright, now, hopefully hit pause there, and you guys got to write this down. So let's go on to the next example. Now, looks familiar, I know. It's the same equation as example 1, but now we are going to vertex form. Now, from standard to vertex, there's like a twist. Alright? So, what happens here is, if you're going from standard to vertex, there's only one thing you can do, and that's label A, label B, label C. Okay? Now let's think about the song. Okay? Beat Boogie with me. Okay? Give me a beat. Don't really, because I'll just don't. If you're going from standard to vertex, S to V, label A, B, and C. What that means is, why am I labeling A, B, and C? Because I need to use negative B over 2A to find the H. Now, vertex form is this. I'm going to write it right here too. Vertex form is y equals A parentheses x minus h squared plus k. This takes on a whole completely different ball game. So we're finding H. I already got A. A's 1. That's great. Let's move on. Opposite of B. Opposite of negative 2. That's positive 2. 2 times A. 2 times 1. That is 2. So H is 1. Well, that's great. Okay. So we got A. We got H. We'll circle those two things. And guys, you're probably already copying this down. That'd be great. So let's move on to 5K. What do we do? 1 parentheses. I'm going to plug 1, what I got for H, in for every X squared, or X. So you got 1 times 1 squared minus 2 times 1 minus 48. Now, I don't even have a calculator, but I'm sure if you punch it in, let's see, 1 squared is 1, 1 minus 2 is negative 1. You should get negative 49, I believe. You might want to punch that in. I don't have a calculator in front of me. So that's a negative 49. Now, what would that look like in the end? I got K. Let's write in green. Y equals 1 parentheses x minus h was 1, so I don't need to change the sign there, minus 49. Alright, hopefully you guys, got your coffee in and you're focused. This is not a short video. I just want you guys to make sure you got this. Alright. Oops. Pause. Alright, so it's being able to recognize what form you're in. Okay? Being able to recognize what form you're in. and what form you need to go to. And again, in this example, we're going to vertex form. But we got to recognize, what form are we in right now? Okay, right now we're in factored form. Okay, now, here's what I like about the Punnett square. Alright, I'm in factored form, and I need to go to vertex form. This one might take a minute. Now, I'm not going to go through everything, but to get started, you need to go to the Punnett square. Okay, and, x minus 2. Now, in factored form, the factors are on the outside. Now, why am I doing this? This one's like a two-step problem. Okay? If you're going from factor to vertex, you got to go, there's a part in between. Okay? What you have to do is you have to convert from factored to standard to vertex. So this one takes a little bit more time and effort. Now, I'm going to fill in the Punnett square. Just multiply. It's like filling in a, multiplication table. Okay. These two I will combine. So right now, I just rewrote this in standard form. So x squared, negative 2x plus 3 is 1x. And then minus 6. Now, what we need to do is the same thing as right here. Alright? Now it's in standard form. Label S to V. Label A, B, and C. Okay? Now that one's going to take a little bit more effort. Alright? But it is what it is. Now, I'm going to hit pause, and I'm going to let you guys figure this one out. Put it in vertex form. Label your A, B, and C. I'll get you started on that, and see if you guys can come to an agreement with what it is in vertex form. Okay? Mr. Teeters can feel free and jump in on this and see what happens. So, pause. Well, if you hit play by now, I went ahead and redone it. This is what you guys should end up with. Okay, now if you need to, hit pause again. And let's move on and try to finish up within the next couple minutes. Alright, so now that you're back, let's look at this little map here. Here's the thing. If you notice this math, picture this being the mothership. Okay, standard form. Okay, everything evolves around that standard form. Alright, now, what I want to do is draw a little concept here. And you draw this up. This would help greatly. If you go from standard to factored form, or factored to standard form, between these two, you have to use the Punnett square. Now, I'm not going to write Punnett square. I'm just going to draw a little baby Punnett square up. Okay? So, anytime you go back and forth between those two, okay, factors on the outside, standard on the inside. You're going to use the Punnett square to go between those two. Now, let's say I'm in factored form. I'll put a little dot. Let's say I'm in factored form and I want to go to vertex form over here. Okay? If you follow this map, you got to use the Punnett square. Then you're in standard form. Okay? So if I was traveling through here from this ship to this part of the main mother ship, and I'm getting to vertex form, I got to go from here to here. I better use a different color. Let's use green. We'd have to jump from here to here. Okay, we're going to travel, and then once we're in standard form, then we can go to vertex form. Okay, see how that map works? So you go from factor to standard to vertex. And same thing. Okay, let's reverse this. Let's say I am already in vertex form. If you start here with follow the green dot, I'm going to travel through time here, get in standard form. Then I could go to factored form. Boom. Okay. Now between factored and standard, it's all about the Punnett square. I just drew this up 20 minutes ago, and I thought this was a pretty neat idea that I had. Now, there's like a two-way street between standard and vertex form. Okay? Let's draw a separate line in standard form. Okay? There's like a two-way street here. If we're going from standard to vertex form, think about example 2. If you're going from standard to vertex, I'm going to draw arrows going this way. If you're going from standard to vertex, that's the label, A, B, and C, negative B over 2A. I'll put that right there. That's what you got to be able to do. Okay? Now, if we're going from, maybe I should draw a different color line here. Let's go this brown pukey color. Let's say we're going from vertex to standard. We haven't done an example like that yet. Okay, boom, boom. Okay, from vertex to standard, you could still use a combination of things. The Punnett square will help you get back. Okay, but there's a twist. Okay, there's a little bit of fixing up, and I'm going to kind of go over that one little example. I forgot all about it. It won't take a minute. But this is the map that I would use. Really, the only one that's different is going from standard to vertex. That's this negative B part. So, hit pause and kind of copy that down. And I'll go through one more example. Alright. Sorry, I was from a previous thing. Example 4. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to go to standard form. I'm writing this out real quick. I'm sorry. Woo. May get done today. Let's say y equals 2x minus 3 squared plus 4. I don't know what's going to happen here, but I am going to use this. I'm already in vertex form, and I'm going to standard form. So I'm going to use that Punnett square to get me there. Okay? Anytime you got parentheses, okay, it's Punnett square time. So let's draw that Punnett square down in here. And the nice thing is x minus 3 is being squared. That's kind of like factors. X minus 3, this should look familiar. X minus 3. You just had a test over this last week. So let's fill this in. X squared minus 3x minus 3x plus 9. Add the diagonal. Okay, add the diagonal. Alright, I'm going to try to finish this up here, guys. Can't believe it's a half hour long. Y equals 2 parentheses. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this with what's inside the Punnett square. That's what you got to do first. So you got x squared minus 6x plus 9 plus 4. Okay. This is where you distribute. Okay. So y equals 2x squared minus 12x plus 18 plus 4. I'm about done now. Oh, this is great. So I'm just going to combine those last two terms here and be done. Alright, guys, it's been a long video, long morning for me. So, do the practice. There's not too many problems. If you don't get to the quiz, Mr. Teeters, that's fine. I want them to get the practice done first. Okay? And if they, well, get going on the practice. You guys still have about 50 minutes. So let's get to it. Mr. Teeters, just save the quiz for next week. All right? All right, guys. Well, thanks, and hang in there. Be patient. Focus. And don't whine about it. It is what it is. I'll see you guys later.